How I Learned to Read by Playing Gamecube. This story begins in the fall of 2003. At least I think it was the fall. I was 3 years old at the time, so I don't remember very well. I do remember sitting at home and my mom picking me up and putting me in the back of her Chevy Astro van next to my older brother. My father started the car and we were on our way to Nebraska Furniture Mart. I had no idea why we were going there, but I do remember going to the electronics section with my mom and seeing rows and rows of boxy televisions, VHS players, and chairs that had speakers inside them. I was in complete awe. While I was staring at TVs with my mom, my brother was with my father looking at game systems. Little did Cole know he was about to make a monumental decision that would dictate my entire childhood and who I am as a person. I found out later the reason why my family was at Nebraska Furniture Mart was to get my brother a game system. At the time, I was content playing just with Hot Wheels, and I don't think I was entirely able to process what was going on, so I didn't have much of a say in what he chose. Luckily, Cole chose a Gamecube. The Gamecube allowed up to 4 people to play at once. I found out that he got it so he could play with friends and so it'd be easier to share with me. In addition to the Gamecube, my family bought a CRT TV and a copy of Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. I remember my dad setting up the TV in the bedroom I shared with my brother. I also remember them not letting me play that night, even though the Gamecube supported 4 players. Need for Speed was sadly a 2-player game. When I finally got my turn on the Gamecube, I remember hitting the power button and listening to the now infamous startup theme. I sat down in a small blue blow-up chair that my parents brought into our room just so we could comfortably play Gamecube. I was then thrown into the world of Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. And started my first race. I picked a purple Vauxhall Astra to drive around this track called Alpine Trail, a track that winded through a forest during the autumn. However, before you were able to go into the track, you had to use a car. If you stopped to admire a car before you chose it, this narrator guy would start talking about the car. He would say things like,
"The SVT Mustang Cobra R from Ford. This muscle machine is capable of a top speed of 175 miles an hour. The Cobra R's 32-valve V8 engine redlines at 6,500 RPMs and cranks out over 380 foot-pounds of torque."
Whenever the narrator would talk, he would say the name of the car, and right above the car was also the name of the car. Eventually, I started to put 2 and 2 together. I began to wait right before choosing a car. I would listen to the narrator talk, then imitate his voice as he read through the descriptions of the cars. Basically, the foundation of my ability to read came from the car selection screen of Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. Ever since those days in the blue chair playing Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2, video games and cars have defined who I am as a person. My years of slaving away in front of a TV with a controller in my hand have finally paid off. I have a job right now where I make videos for Mizzou Athletics, and whenever I make videos, I have to put music in them. And usually when I find my music, I look at the games I used to play and look at their soundtracks. One of my bosses will always ask me like how I know about all this old music, and I just tell him I just really like listening to music, not that I have an unhealthy obsession with video games. Sometimes I think about if I didn't sit down in that blue chair and learn how to read from the cheesy narrations of Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2, that I wouldn't have the passion I do today for cars and video games. So Cole, I would just want you to know that you deciding to get the GameCube had a really big impact on my life, and I really appreciate it.